Welcome to my channel Accounting LA. Today's lecture is on the topic Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, popularly known as GAPs. Main learning outcome of the lecture is to know what GAPs are and to learn the basic accounting concepts and conventions. It will also help us to understand the principles that helps in recording the transactions in the books of accounts. Now comes next the accounting period concept. As the name is suggesting, accounting period concept. What does it mean? This principle says that economic life of the business is to be divided into equal and consecutive time periods for the purpose of preparation of financial statements. Reason, this is interconnected with the going concern concept. As we said earlier, that business will continue its operations for the long period, but still we are interested to know that how much profit we have earned. So what we will do, this going concern means the continuity of the business. It will be divided into certain equal parts, and this one part is known as accounting period. इसको हम क्या कहेंगे? This is known as accounting period, right? I hope this is clear to you. This is accounting period, right? So what we do, we divide the whole life of the business into smaller parts, and normally this part is of 12 months, or you can say this is of 1 year. So what are the major implication of this particular year? That we divide the whole life into a year, and generally it is of 12 months. It is of 12 months. Similarly, we record the transactions, because what we said that the whole life is divided into some smaller parts, that is accounting period. So the whole life is divided into smaller parts, and we record the transaction for that particular part. Like in this particular period, what are the expenses, what are the incomes, these are to be recorded in the books of accounts in order to do the financial reporting. Because at the end of the year we are supposed to prepare balance sheet, we are supposed to prepare cash flow statement, we are supposed to prepare income statement. So in this particular year we will come to know how much profit we have earned, how much outflow or inflow of cash is there, and what is the position of our financial credibility, what is our financial position at the end of that particular accounting period. Like we see in this example that ABC Corporation, they prepare the annual financial statements covering the entire year, and these statements provide the comprehensive view of company's financial results as well as the financial position for the entire year. Now next concept is matching concept. What matching concept is saying? That we should match the expenses of same period with the revenue of that particular period, right? So what matching concept says, that expenses are to be recognized in the same period in which it helps to generate the revenue. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमने रेंट पे किया, हमने सैलरी पे करी, हमने कुछ वेजेस पे करी, हमने मटेरियल परचेज किया, हमने गुड्स परचेज करी, उन एक्सपेंसेस के बेसिस पे ही हमने उस पर्टिकुलर पीरियड में सेल्स करी, राइट? तो मैचिंग कॉन्सेप्ट कहता है कि जो आपने एक्सपेंसेस करे हैं, राइट, इस रेवेन्यू को जनरेट करने के लिए, राइट, आपको क्या करना है, उन एक्सपेंसेस को उस पर्टिकुलर अकाउंटिंग पीरियड में अपने रेवेन्यू के साथ मैच करना है, राइट? अब व्हाट आर द मेजर implication of this particular concept, this matching concept? This first of all, it is that it helps in accurate measurement of income. So matching concept ensures that net income reported in the income statement, that is accurately reflecting the profitability of that particular period. अगर हमने 12 months का period लिया तो उस months के expenses एंड रेवेन्यूज को मैच करके वी आर कैलकुलेटिंग कि उस पर्टिकुलर ईयर में हमें कितना प्रॉफिट हुआ है या हमें उस पर्टिकुलर पीरियड में कितना लॉस हुआ. सो इट हेल्प्स अस in accurate measurement of the income. Similarly, it helps us in decision making, like we want to take various kind of decisions, like resource allocation. We have to take the decision regarding pricing strategy. We want to know whether we are working efficiently or not. So it will helps us in taking various kinds of decision also. Next is it helps in timely recognition of the expenses, because what we are saying that expenses are to be recognized when they are incurred. हमने पीछे बात करी है कि जब actually expenses को incur किया आपको उनको तभी recognize करना है. Maybe it is paid, maybe it is not paid. So matching concepts helps us in timely recognition of the expenses. Now matching concepts also helps us in consistency of financial reporting, because if we'll do it on cash basis, what will happen, maybe in one particular year expenses are paid more, but in particular year less expenses are paid, and these are kept outstanding and these are to be paid in the next year. So अगर हम कैश कॉन्सेप्ट को छोड़ के हम क्या करते हैं, इस कॉन्सेप्ट को फॉलो करते हैं, तो इससे क्या होगा, कंसिस्टेंसी होगी फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल मिस्टर रे ने परचेज किए हैं 100 फैंस एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ 30,000. he has paid certain expenses like cash पे किया है 1,000 2,200, but उसका outstanding rent भी है 2,000 का. outstanding means कि expenses are due but not yet paid. the benefit is derived, मतलब हमने उसकी जो resources हैं उनको use कर लिया but उसका rent पे नहीं किया. similarly उसने इन expenses को इन फैंस को 40,000 में सेल कर दिया. व्हाट ही इज सपोज टू डू, व्हाट मैचिंग कॉन्सेप्ट से कि ये जो 40,000 का उसको रेवेन्यू डिराइव हुआ है उसको मैच करना है अगेंस्ट द कॉस्ट ऑफ दीज फैंस प्लस द एक्सपेंसेस दैट ही हैज इनकर्ड प्लस द आउटस्टैंडिंग रेंट. सो इस पर्टिकुलर पीरियड का हमारा प्रॉफिट कितना आएगा 6,800. वो कैसे आया, 40,000 का रेवेन्यू उसमें से 30,000 1,000 200 और 2,000 की जो कॉस्ट है उसको माइनस करके हमें 6,800 का प्रॉफिट मिला. सो इवन इफ सम एक्सपेंसेस आर पेड और नॉट, राइट, these are to be considered. हो सकता है ये जो हमने सेल करी है इसमें से कुछ सेल्स क्रेडिट पे हो. मे बी अ फ्यू थिंग्स आर सोल्ड ऑन क्रेडिट, मीन्स नॉट कैश इज रिसीव्ड, कैश नहीं रिसीव हुआ अभी तक, लेकिन फिर भी हमने उसको अपनी सेल्स में इंक्लूड करना है, अपने रेवेन्यू में इंक्लूड करना है. राइट. नाउ नेक्स्ट वी हैव द realization concept. What the realization concept says, realization, what does it mean, that revenue is to be recognized when it is earned, or you can say earned means when it can be reliably measured regardless of when payment is. हमने ये नहीं तो देखना कि वो रेवेन्यू हमें मिल गया या नहीं इन कैश फॉर्म में. हमने सिंपल ये एज्यूम करना है कि क्या ये अर्न हो चुका है. वन कीवर्ड इज इट इज अर्नड. सेकेंड कीवर्ड इज दैट इट कैन बी मेजर्ड रिलायबली. हम इसको रिलायबली मेजर कर सकते हैं. when we see that we can measure it reliably and it is earned, that means it is to be recognized in our books of accounts. Now there are certain implications of realization concept. The very first is the timings. इससे हमें ये चीज क्लियर हो जाएगी. realization concept will helps us in identifying that when the revenue is to be recognized. Is it when the cash is received or it is when the revenue is earned and reliably measured. So ये आपने बड़े ध्यान से देखना है. We are not concerned with the cash. We are not concerned with the cash. हमने ये देखना है कि ये earn कब हुआ, क्या हम इसको reliably measure कर सकते हैं, तो at that time we will recognize that revenue. So it also helps us in following the matching principle, because matching principles क्या कहता है कि करंट पीरियड के रेवेन्यू को करंट पीरियड के एक्सपेंस से मेजर करो, चाहे वो पे हुआ है चाहे वो रिसीव हुआ है। सिमिलरली realization concept is will help the different stakeholders, right, to adhere to making the various kind of decisions about the company's performance as well as its financial health. Of course, realization expenses also realization concept also helps in compliance of the various accounting standards, accounting principles which are given by the different entities all around the world. Now let's go through an example. A company receive an order from the customer for rupees 10,000 worth of furniture. कंपनी को एक ऑर्डर मिला है कि कस्टमर से कि उनको 10,000 का जो है फर्नीचर है वो डिलीवर करना। Now realization concept कहते हैं revenue should be recognized at the point when furniture is delivered, because जैसे हमने ऊपर बात करी थी कि revenue is earned, जब फर्नीचर डिलीवर हो जाएगा और कस्टमर को कंट्रोल ट्रांसफर हो जाएगा, only then we will see, only then we will consider that revenue is earned and it can be measured reliably. राइट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम सेल करते हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी सेल द गुड्स ऑन यू नो अप्रूवल बेसिस पे, अप्रूवल बेसिस पे हम सेल करते हैं कि अगर कस्टमर को अप्रूव होगा तो वो परचेज करेगा। तो अनटिल एंड अनलेस जब तक कस्टमर उसको अप्रूव नहीं करता, वो नहीं एज्यूम करता कि हाँ वाकई मैंने ये चीज़ खरीदी है, अब ये गुड्स मेरी हैं, अब ये मेरे पास रहेंगी चीज़ें, तब तक हम उसको इस इनकम को रियलाइज नहीं कर सकते, उस रेवेन्यू को रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं कर सकते अपनी बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में। दिस इज व्हाट रियलाइजेशन कॉन्सेप्ट सेज। Next we have is the objective evidence concept. Now what objective evidence concept is saying? Objective evidence, evidence का मतलब क्या होता है? प्रूफ होना किसी चीज का। So ये concept क्या कहता है कि हम जितनी भी transactions कर रहे हैं, जो भी हम financial data अपनी books of accounts में record कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए for that we must have some verifiable documentation and evidence. कोई हमारे पास उन ट्रांजैक्शंस का प्रूफ होना चाहिए। जो भी फाइनेंशियल डाटा या जो भी ट्रांजैक्शंस रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हो मस्ट हैव प्रूफ। उसके बिना यू नो जो भी हम ट्रांजैक्शन करेंगे वो हमारी एक ऑथेंटिक ट्रांजैक्शन जो है उसको हम नहीं एज्यूम करेंगे। Now there are again implications of this particular standard. सबसे पहले it will helps us in auditing and compliance. For example, if I have written that I have purchased 10,000 of goods, right? Rupees 10,000 of goods. So there should be certain invoice. उसके लिए कोई हमारे पास invoice होगी. That is what is supporting document. That is what is that there is a documentation or you can say evidence for this particular transaction. If I am saying I have paid rupees suppose 1,000 as wages, so again there should be a documentary evidence for these wages. कोई suppose payment की receipt हो सकती है, receipt which is signed by the person who has received those wages, that should be there. और अगर हमने कोई चेक से पेमेंट करी है तो उसका प्रूफ हो सकता है हमारे पास. So there should be documentary evidence which will help us in auditing as well as compliance of the legal requirements. Again, it will ensure transparency. It will ensure that transactions are there and of course there is a documentary evidence for those transactions. It will also helps us in legal and regulatory compliance. That law requires that each and every transaction is to be recorded properly and it should be supported by documentary evidence, right? So this objective evidence concept helps us in regulatory compliance. It will help us in taking various kind of decisions also, because if we say that there is a documentary evidence for each and every transaction, that means our transactions are authentic. And if the transactions are authentic, That means we are providing reliable information to all the users of accounting information, which will help them in making various decisions. Similarly, it will help in consistency and maintaining the comparability. Let's go through an example. Like a company purchase goods worth rupees 50,000 and from a supplier. नाउ इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव एविडेंस क्या होगा? कंपनी ने कोई भी ये जो परचेज करी है इसके लिए कोई ऑर्डर पास किया होगा, राइट? तो इट मस्ट बी हैविंग अ परचेज ऑर्डर। या जब उन्होंने रिसीव करी होगी तो कोई बिल आया होगा उसके साथ, मीन्स देयर शुड बी इनवॉइस, और देयर कैन बी रिसीट ऑफ द गुड्स व्हेन दे आर रिसीविंग द गुड्स, देयर मे बी रिसीट ऑफ गुड्स ड्यूली साइंड बाय देम, सो इट कुड बी considered as a documentary evidence. So this is what objective evidence concept. Next we have the accrual concept. Now as the name is suggesting, accrual concept, what accrual concept says? That transactions are to be recorded in the period in which they occur, right? Regardless of when cash flows actually happens. Again, this can be related with the realization concept and matching concept, कि transactions को कब record करना है? जब वो actually they are occurring and not when the cash flow is happen. हमने cash flow को नहीं देखना, हमने देखना वो transaction actually हुई कब, then we will record those transaction, right? So again, ये जो accrual concept है, it will helps us in accurate financial reporting, decision making में help करेगा, transparency ensure करेगा, जैसे legal and tax compliances हैं, we know that we have to use the accrual concept, accrual accounting. Like for example, income tax में accrual accounting जो है उसको follow किया जाता है, तो वो legal compliance में हमें help कर रहा है, and of course it will helps us in auditing and accountability also by providing a clear trail of transactions and ensuring that financial statements are auditable as well as reliable. Now let's go through an example. The firm recognizes the revenue when it completes the service, regardless when cash is received. So, कोई भी organization है वो जब अपनी service को complete कर लेगी, for example उसने किसी को services दी, तो जब complete हो गई तो उसने उसको immediately revenue जो है recognize कर लेना है, ये नहीं देखना कि cash receive हुआ या नहीं हुआ. Like we record, credit sales, right? What is that is based on the concept of this accrual concept, right? Similarly, we recognize the outstanding expenses in the financial statements, expenses which may not be yet paid, but still benefit is derived from that particular expense, so it will be recognized, it will be considered in financial statements on the basis of accrual concept. So this is about all the concepts of this accounting. The rest conventions we will discuss in the next video. Till then, thank you so much.